Hello, I've returned with another ADH Wealth solution. Today, we will begin to discuss fulfilling all of your financial needs. As always, this is a basic description. For an evaluation of your own, please schedule an appointment. My information is in the description. Lastly, make sure you hit the like, drop a comment, and if you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. Today, we will be reviewing an article from Axios Markets in regards to why the C-suite is out of reach for people of color. Climbing to the top of the corporate ladder in America is nearly impossible for people of color, writes Axios' Kate Marino as part of a Hard Truths deep dive series exploring systemic racism in business ownership and leadership. Why it matters. Having to navigate blind spots at all levels of the corporate chain creates a system of barriers that can be hard for organizations to acknowledge, let alone much less address. How it works? Well, people don't become CEOs by a twist of fate. There's intentionality in succession planning. The underrepresentation in the C-suite endures despite a growing pile of evidence that diversity is good for the bottom line. The lack of black representation has to do with a system of unconscious biases inherent in some individuals and organizations. There are systems masquerading as meritocratic that, when you dig deeper, are not, says Bradley Ben, who co-leads executive search firm Russell Reynolds' diversity inclusion practice. Race and business ownership and leadership in America. Business ownership and corporate diversity initiatives are seen as paths towards closing the racial wealth gap. But for people of color, systemic barriers along both routes still hobble successes. The separate and unequal paths in business. When a bank turned down George Johnson for a business loan, he got creative. He returned and told the bank he needed $250 to take his wife on a vacation. And he was approved. Then he invested that cash into his business, which became the first black enterprise to trade on the American Stock Exchange. Why it matters. The highways to success in the U.S. market economy in entrepreneurship, corporate leadership, and wealth creation are often punctuated with roadblocks and winding detours for people of color. The story of how Johnson created his namesake company exemplifies the barriers Black Americans face in building a business decades after slavery and Jim Crow laws. Born in a 3-room sharecropper shack in Mississippi, John dropped out of high school and worked as a door-to-door cosmetics salesman. Johnson and his wife Joanne used their vacation loan and another $250 loan from a friend to create a hair relaxer for men in the 1950s, then promoted their products in black-owned magazines and newspapers. Eventually, the personal care products company vastly expanded after advertising on Soul Train, the American music dance television program created by Don Cornelius, another black risk taker. But the Johnson's company rise relied on the couple outsmarting a banker and finding other black-owned businesses to promote their products, highlighting the discrimination in banking and the systemic barriers they had to navigate to access capital and markets. Despite a jarring racial wealth gap, there are many examples of successful Black, Latino, Asian, and Native Americans in business. Lesser known are the systemic roadblocks that these communities and businesses face. Interested in having an evaluation? Find my contact info in the description and schedule a consult to explore your options. Have a financial question but don't know who to ask? Email me at a.hall@ cgwealth.financial, and your question may be answered in my next video. Security products are subject to investment risks, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, limitations, charges, and expenses of the product and any underlying investment options. This information can be found in the product and investment option prospectuses. Copies are available from your registered representative.